The elixirs that a Witcher drinks, you see this in The Witcher 1, and I'm pretty sure you get to do it throughout the games in The Witcher 2 as well. The Witcher drinks these elixirs that would be poisonous to a normal person, but he drinks these before he's going to go into a fight, because it makes him more, it makes him faster. It makes him more aware. It really increases his hearing. Like, he could hear, like like a little drop of water. He could hear everything, and his vision is more keen in the dark. Like, he could see even better in the dark. And it just makes him really fast. And it really makes it makes him look. In the book, it explains that someone saw the Witcher when he had drank this, and they were like, "Oh my God!" They got all scared because he looks like chalk, like pretty much really even more pale than he already is. And his eyes looked a little bit different, and he just looks like crazy. And he even tries not to talk because he's so fast. He even talks fast. So he does this so that he could fight monsters better. He has quicker reflexes and all that. I really like that in the story of the Striga, which is the prologue of the first Witcher. It's one of the stories in here with the daughter of King Foltest. If you've played the first Witcher, the prologue, that's one of the first stories in here. So the reason I said that the Witchers and wizards don't really get along, because the Witchers blame wizards or magic wielders, also sorcerers, but more wizards, because they say that a lot of monsters are in the world because of magic wielders, because of magic, because of curses, because wizards will curse somebody and they'll turn into a monster. Like, for example, the Striga in that story, the King Foltest's daughter was born this like a monster, and it was because of a curse. They don't go into this in the game, maybe through talk, but in the prologue it doesn't explain this part. But the reason a lot of people thought that the baby was born as this monster, because Foltest and his sister slept together, and they're like, they had an abomination because of this. So, but it wasn't. It turns out it wasn't because of this. It was more because someone put a curse on the baby. So it was born into this monster. The Foltest's sister, the mother, dies in childbirth, and the baby dies as well. And instead of Foltest puts the baby in a sarcophagus, in a tomb, and that's when the Witcher was like, that was a mistake, you were supposed to burn it, but they didn't. They put it in the sarcophagus, and shortly after, the baby comes back to life, and it's now this monster called a Striga, and it matures faster, and so it turns into this big ugly thing, and it's killing people. And it lives in the palace, in the old palace where Foltest used to live. They had to move palaces, so now this palace is pretty much the hunting ground of the Striga. And the Witcher has to go, and Foltest says, "I want you to take the curse off. Don't kill her. You take the curse off." And that's a Witcher could do that. They could take a curse off of a monster. It's pretty hard, but if they're capable of doing it, they will do it. So the Witcher says, "Yeah, I'll try. If not, if my life is in danger, I'll kill her." So that's that whole prologue. And there's a part in there that doesn't explain what happens in that moment, but I'll explain. But it has to do a lot with what a Witcher does. If you haven't played The Witcher, I'd say just watch the prologue so that you know what I'm talking about. There's a moment where Geralt is fighting the Striga, and Geralt has already drinking these elixirs, so he's got this, more power than he already has. And he's fighting the Striga with the silver sword, because the silver sword, like he was saying, is a lot of monsters are weak against silver. He's doing this a spell on the Striga, trying to push it back, like this fire spell, and the Striga's like, you know, kind of being held back a little bit, but she's still moving towards him, and she's like really close to him already, and he like hits her with a stronger spell, pushes her back, and something happens to Geralt where he just like, it looks like he gets really mad or something like that, and he's just like, ah, something like that. I don't remember how it is in the game, but in the books, it says that what he drinks, the stuff that he drinks, makes him, pretty much turns him into, without transforming him, but pretty much turns him into the evil that he's fighting. So that the fight is fair. And I found that really interesting because that's what happens in that moment. Geralt, like, he turns into, or he manifests the evil, or oh no, I hate those things. No. Oh my god. It's those big. Where did it go? I hate insects. Oh my god, it was those big black, greenish things that make all this noise. They're like, oh, it was like that big. Oh, nasty. I hate those things. Okay, so what was I saying? I was talking about the Striga. These elixirs make the Witcher like on par with the monster that they're fighting. So it's kind of like Geralt is able to absorb the evil or the essence of this monster for this moment, and he repels it back, so that the monster is like, whoa, you know, like it's almost like like Geralt scares the monster the way that the monster is able to scare somebody. So it's like we're equals, you know, this is what you are. That's what the Witcher, it does. It kind of repels its evil, and the monster's like, you know, that's what happens in that moment. That's why the Striga runs away. And this isn't explained in the game, so it's kind of like, oh, come on, how would the Witcher scare that thing like that? But that's what's going on in that moment. So yeah, and then he has to sleep in the sarcophagus of the Striga in order to take the cure, or take the curse off. He sleeps in there, and at the third cock's crow, you know, like the rooster crowing, or the rooster, you know, cock-a-doing. At the third one, he could get out of the sarcophagus, and the Striga should be a girl. And the girl is like 14 years old. They kind of changed this in the game. They make her older, I think. He does take the curse off. In the game, I believe you get to use both swords. He wears both swords in the back. And it's not that you can't use a silver sword on a human. You could, but they're so like light, they're so fragile that any armor that a human is wearing could break the sword. Like if you hit it, it could break it. So that's why they don't really use it against humans. But you can. But it's not. You shouldn't. In the game, it's made a Witcher is made to seem like a mutant, like almost like a different race. But in books, it's made to see like it's a profession. Geralt says this a lot, you know, that it's a profession. Witchers aren't respected at all. I mean, some people do respect them, but barely. I mean, not they're received in a very harsh way. That's why he was saying if he's spat at, he just leaves. But he's pretty much looking for a job. It's pretty interesting. That's what a Witcher does, is they go from town to town looking for jobs. Kind of like a bounty hunter or something like that, for monsters. So they're not just like heroes out in the world fighting evil. They're actually like, you know, they're going from town to town trying to make a living, killing monsters. And that's what he says in that chapter. So they're not they're not respected by a lot of people. They're really mistreated. When someone sees a witcher, or when someone sees Geralt, sometimes they kick him out of the town. They're just like, get the hell out of here, you damn witcher. So here's a glossary entry. I think it's from the games that I found that kind of explains what I was just saying. Just kind of as a recap, I guess. Thanks to mutagenic mushrooms, herbs, and plant stimulants, the bodies of young apprentices develop superhuman speed and endurance as a result of a painful and dangerous trial of grasses. Young witchers gain cat-like eyes, which allow them to see in the dark. With the help of sorcerers, they learn to utilize simple combat spells called signs, as well as magic potions that augmented their fighting skills. Nowadays, when monsters have become something of a rarity, the demand for the Witcher's services has declined significantly. Only a few representatives of the cast still travel the world, and no more monster slayers are being made. Tears. The Witchers are treated as outcasts, and sometimes even met with hatred. This hatred has made manifest during the infamous attack on Kaer Morhen, which is a Witcher stronghold, which is that's how the Witcher 1 begins, where there's an attack on Kaer Morhen. You don't need to read the book to play the game, because the game kind of stands on its own, just because it is a new, almost like a new short story of Geralt, because these are all short stories, and then the novel, of course. I don't know what the novel's about, but I think it's probably, I've heard that it's there's a huge thing that is mentioned that starts in this book. The girl named Yennefer, she was Geralt's love, like the love of his life. And that's another thing, is Witchers are trained to not have any emotions, like no human emotions ever again. But obviously it's not like a permanent thing that they take away. It's more like they just try to train them not to, because Geralt does fall in love. He falls in love with this girl named Yennefer, and I'm just at the part where she's being mentioned in the book, so I don't know exactly who she is, but I've read that she is mentioned in the games as well. I've heard that Geralt is searching for her or something like that. So I don't know. I'm gonna do another video where I talk more about the games and all that. Right here in this video, I just want to talk about the Witchers and Geralt, just so that you guys have an understanding of that whole concept, because I think that's the biggest thing that you should go into the game knowing. A lot of people see Witchers as inhuman. They see them as mutants. They see them as outcasts. They see them as non-feeling, like they don't have these emotions or anything. So they see them as less than human, but Geralt constantly tries to keep his humanity. I think that's why he constantly says that the Witcher is a job. It doesn't really define who he is. It doesn't really make him somebody different. He tries to keep his humanity, and that's why he establishes, like he says in the book, he establishes this code for himself, and he tries not to delve into issues of humans, like where someone, like sometimes they will hire him to kill this guy, a human, and he's like, I'm not an assassin, I don't do that. You know, he tries to keep his morals in a certain degree. So he says, I'm not a thug, you know, that kind of thing. So he creates this code for himself in order to keep his humanity. But like he says, there is no Witcher's code. He created it himself. So that's another thing that I really like about Geralt, is that he tries hard to keep his humanity, to not just be this superhuman monster slayer, and not to abuse his power by using it against humans, because he could totally tear up anybody, a bunch of humans. With his advanced skills, he could totally just kill humans, you know. No, he could be an assassin. but he chooses not to be. And when he does, because he says he's considered to be the butcher of whatever that one city was called, and because he didn't want to choose the lesser evil, but it came down to that in this story that I read a little while ago. That's what he's talking about. He had to kill a gang of humans. They were gonna massacre a lot of people in that town, but he pretty much killed them all like nothing. Like, it was pretty crazy, that whole scene. He's like running around like 5 dudes or 6 dudes, like, huge guys. He runs around them like really fast and just starts slashing them up, like killing them like nothing. Like they're no match for him. And these are like warrior guys. So he kills them like nobody's business, and they're just like dead on the ground. And the town is like, you know, they really judge him, and they call him the butcher. And the sheriff of that town tells him never to return. And Geralt just felt really bad, even though he was choosing the lesser evil, because if he had left them alive, they would have killed more people. It really didn't make him feel any better. So he chooses, since then he says that he chooses not to involve himself in those types of situations, because then it's kind of like he's taking advantage, or he's abusing his power against people that have no chance against him. So yeah, so he pretty much sticks to monsters. But I'm sure in the game this whole issue pops up here and there, because I'm pretty much talking a lot about the book. So I can't wait to play the game and really see how that transfers from book to game. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Just let you guys know about the Witchers and Geralt in general. I'm gonna go start playing and recording. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm gonna upload the actual gameplay today with commentary, but if not, it'll definitely come within these days that are coming. So I will be recording it as I go. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and I will talk to you guys later.